May the 4th, 2024. Guys, it's a beautiful sunny day here in central Mississippi today. We've had a little bit of rain the last few days and all, but the gardens needed it and the dust needed it and everything else. But it's a beautiful sunny day now. There's Texas, our friends there are getting flooded. It's one of the record floods that I've seen. It's over near the Houston area, if I'm not mistaken, but I've seen the news and the chopper videos and drone images. For all you guys there, man, it's an amazing sight to see that river get that high. It's very unusual. I think you've had flooding like that during hurricanes, but this is ongoing. And there's multiple homes and subdivisions and cities and highways that are underwater. Interstates are underwater. 18-wheelers are running off the side of them. So it's just been the last couple of years, record everything, record heat, record cold, record rain and hail. And we're about to move into this hurricane season. Normally, it doesn't officially start to June 1st, but we've seen it spin up in May. And the Atlantic Ocean, guys, is at record heat. Remember that chart I showed you about a month ago? It was warmer than it's ever been this time of the year, and the chart shows it's just increasing from last year. The difference is it's not going to have the winds coming from the west tearing using wind shear to tear the storms apart. But we're keeping an eye on it, and so is the National Hurricane Center. But what we're dealing with in the last couple of weeks, and it's been kind of strange to see, was all the college campus riots and protests. They call it Gaza protest or anti-Israeli protest or whatever you want to call it. Over 100 colleges have experienced it so far, and it's usually ended up in a lot of trash left behind and some people being arrested and windows broken. Now, I will say this, for here in our state, up in Oxford at Ole Miss, and in, I think at LSU down in Louisiana, two Southeastern Conference colleges ran them off. To start with, you had a small protest gathering, just like you saw the larger ones, same kind of group of people, but they were all surrounded in Oxford at Ole Miss and at LSU by students singing the national anthem and God Bless America and all of this stuff. And they were just kind of drowned out and had to leave. So thumbs up for our friends here in Mississippi and Louisiana. We need to see that more. I'm talking to all of you college kids out there in your area, in your age groups, and when you see this happening, express your right to free speech, protest. But anyway, I said that was going to happen, going back to the song by Jason Aldean and his band called Don't Try That in a Small Town. And that's exactly what we saw in the last 2 days down here. It just doesn't work when you don't have the big cities that are completely taken over. When you don't have that, it just does not work. But now we're starting to see other pieces of this puzzle come together. Why were they all united? It looked like the same group that we've seen protest for the last few years, just with a different hat on, so to speak. Probably same paymasters. Where was it leading? During this time, the House has passed a bipartisan Antisemitism Aware Act. Now, there's people that are speaking up against this because of the censorship involved. And has the people in charge pushed these demonstrations just to get to this point? Because a lot of the students were just getting a little bit of a paycheck. Some of them had no idea what they were even doing there. Now, except, of course, you had people inside that, a lot of them were professors that had more or less taught a lot of the students how to act like this instead of something useful for a job. Well, you don't need to work. We're just going to pay you to protest and raise Cain and bring destruction and chaos so that we can push the laws and restrictions, First and Second Amendment, down their throat. So that's all you got to worry about. And that's what they've done, the full indoctrination. But this anti-Semitism bill, this is what I want to hear your comments about, because different people are saying different things. Newsweek, Republicans voting for the bill that could make the Bible illegal. Matt Gaetz blasts the House anti-Semitism legislation for its ridiculous hate speech bill. What it said, you can't use any type of hate speech, and they're going for the campuses right now, the indoctrination centers. Right? But this is going to spread anywhere they want it to, making it illegal to be anti-Jewish. And what people are saying, because the Bible says that the Jews kill Christ, that they could turn that around to make it a hate speech book. So how would the new laws that people have been talking about, let's say the Noahide laws, a lot of people have talked about that over the last few years. I haven't studied it that much. It doesn't concern me just because some of the things that are being said about it. But is it part of that push, that movement? We know it's going to be a censorship movement. We know that there's a tremendous amount of money that goes between Israel and the U.S., from corporations to politicians. Now, we also know there's other people, not just Israelis, that are behind some of these movements we're seeing. But as I read the bill, or what I could find about it, and I will put that link below in the comments, and it will be pinned to the top, where you can read it for yourself or what information is available. It doesn't say the words that they're going to make the Bible illegal. But the people that are talking about this, from both mainstream politicians to alternative media to mainstream media, what they're saying is that because you cannot criticize again the Jewish people, then the criticism of the Jews killing Christ would be what they want to take that Bible away, to burn the Bibles, basically. We know they would find some way, but the reading in the bill itself does not explicitly say that. But you can hear some different articles. Just type in top stories of the Bipartisan Anti-Semitism Awareness Act. It goes back to the Civil Rights Bill of, I think, in 1962. Now, in one of these articles that we were looking at, it says that conservatives voiced outrage at congressional Republicans voting for this Anti-Semitism Awareness Act over concerns it would make the Bible illegal. Congress on Wednesday passed the bill which would require the Department of Education, again the indoctrination centers, to use the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism when enforcing the anti-discrimination laws. It comes as colleges across the U.S. have seen pro-Palestinian protests, and that critics say at times have allegedly veered into anti-Semitism. It's a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards the Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and are their property, towards Jewish commission or community institutions and religious facilities. It's also Christians. We've seen is more Christian churches and preachers attacked, I think, than we have Jewish here in the U.S. And one of the interesting things about that vote was that Jerry Nadler, he's kind of the head of the Democrats and that committee, voted against it. Well, now he's Jewish. So what does that tell you? Money. Somehow a lot of money's involved in this. Passing back and forth, one's to push the rights, the other, and so that, and the demonstrations, protests, so that these laws can be put into place. Now, would doing this eventually bring about more and more division among the population? Of course it would. Now, the bill drew bipartisan criticism, with both Democrats and Republicans voting against it. Critics argue that the bill, if signed into law, stifles free speech that is protected by the U.S. Constitution and is overly broad in its definition of anti-Semitism, pointing to the definition included claiming that the existence of the state of Israel is a racist endeavor. And, that's what a lot of the protests have said, and people for years and all have said that were against what was going on in the Middle East. Ultimately, 91 members of Congress voted against it. Some conservatives are taking issue with the bill over the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, including claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel, arguing that it can mean that parts of the Bible would now become illegal. Again, the bill does not state that, but there's multiple sources that are concerned about it. And I'm going to link that bill, and I'd love to hear your comments. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, guys. A couple things I got to take care of. Be at the doctor's this coming Tuesday, and then another appointment at the end of the month. But I'm going to keep you guys updated on that. And that's because you ask, and you deserve to know because y'all have been such a great help to us. But again, let me know what you think about this. We knew that this day would come. I'm not sure if this is the exact mechanism to do it, but they would want to do away with Christianity any way they can. It goes against what the devil does, right? And then we got a lot of devils running things now, guys. But we're watching this. Again, I'll put a link to the bill. Let me know what you think. It's a heads up. Be safe.